Sanbonani, welcome to Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances. When technology is not on your side, you still keep that positive mindset. So my name is Dr. Riel Nkunene. I'm gonna be your host for today. So if you're watching us online, please feel free to put in the chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to achieve from our podcast. So today we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers who's going to share some nuggets on human rights, which are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. So in Georgia, we have Dr. Amber N. Lyons. And in British Columbia, we have Lucille Murray. So at this moment, I'll just let our speakers to introduce themselves. So you can go ahead, Dr. Amber.
Hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are joining in the world. First of all, thank you, Dr. Nkunene, for having me here today. I am excited to be here on this podcast with you and with Lucille Dixon. Thank you so much for having me as a guest today. I'm Dr. Amber N. Lyons. I'm the CEO and founder of From Pain to Purpose Incorporated. I am a transformational speaker, domestic violence and teen dating violence advocate, and we know October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Podcast visionary, author, intercessory prayer leader, global youth leader in the World Women's Conference and Award Organization under the leadership of Regine Sinakis. Just so much more that I do, mother, grandmother, and a woman who loves God and loves to inspire and empower people around the world. So thank you for having me here today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amber, for saying yes. And it's such a great honor to have you in this platform. And I am really, really looking forward to hear you speak. Thank you. You can go ahead, Lucille, and introduce yourself, please.
Good morning, Your Excellencies. Dr. Kunene and Dr. Lyons, and distinguished guests and audience. My name is Lucille, and I'm a recent law enforcement graduate and human rights advocate. I'm also a prayer warrior and a mother and grandmother, and that's my highest title. My topic today is on education of law enforcement, and after being over 30 years in the international healthcare, I've built international relationships in law enforcement, which complement oneself. After having been involved in 2 national human rights legal matters in Canada and South Africa, it has paved my passion for law forward to actually graduate in Canada as a law enforcement and human rights specialist. My passion is law is love and love is law. Love thy neighbor as thyself. And the first commandment is love your God. Thank you. I'm looking forward to be taking part, and it's an honor. Thank you, Dr. Kunene.
It's such a great honor to have you, Lucille. And yeah, law is love and love is law. I'm taking that today. It's such a great honor to have you. I'm looking forward to hear you speak. So, you know what, like today, like I've mentioned today, we're going to be really, really talking about a very, very, very sensitive topic, which is human rights. So we always have a disclaimer here at Rise to Greater Heights Network. We're only here to provide about legal information about human rights to the public. So legal information is not the same as legal advice as to the application of law to an individual specific circumstances. So we cannot offer any legal advice in response to specific questions. And we strongly recommend that you consult a lawyer if you need such help. So we're gonna get started today. But before we get started, Dr. Amber, I have a question for you. I have a question for you. If you happen to have your own billboard, maybe your billboard is already out there, I don't know. What will your billboard say?
My billboard would say, the Queen of Smooches, that's me, admonishes you to lead with love. Remember, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Wow. People don't do what? They don't care how much you know until you prove it to them that you care about them. I love it. I love it. Such an amazing billboard. And the Queen of Smooches, that's yourself. Wow. Wow. I love it. I love it. How about you, Lucille? What will your billboard say? Maybe, I don't know. It's already down there in the busy highway in British Columbia. What will it say?
Thank you, Dr. Kunene. Actually, it would say Tiger for Love. And that's a nickname I got over 25 years ago in my first court matter. Although I was South African, they called me Tiger because tigers are fearless and they don't stop until the job is finished. So that is definitely Tiger for Love.
Tiger for Love. I love it. And before you mentioned that low is love and love is low. Now it's Tiger for Love. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
We're full of love here today. Anybody can get some love today.
We're just spreading it, spreading love. Wow, I love both billboards. So I believe mine will be the third billboard driving down the busy highway. And it's going to remind you that the sky is no longer the limit. But now the sky is our point of view. We're going to be up there, like trying to, design our lives, chasing after success, looking at, viewing our goals, because the sky is no longer the limit. But now the sky is our point of view. So we're all called to rise to greater heights, and it's definitely coming. So good people, we're going to get started. We're going to get started with Dr. Amber and Lyons. Do you say Lyons or Leons?
Lions, you got it right. Lion.
Like the real lion.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Amber Lyons is the CEO and founder of From Pain to Purpose, Inc. She has become known for her authentic, loving spirit, queen of smooches, vibrant personality, and fiery passion as a transformational speaker, domestic violence, teen dating violence, youth advocate, author, ordained elder, intercessory prayer leader, podcast host, as well as producer and global youth leader. Her life's work and purpose has helped people transition from a place of pain to live in their purpose. So I think I lost your bio. To live in their purpose through embracing health, relationship skills. She diligently works to help rebuild the village of support for our youth and create collaborative opportunities for them that will position them for leadership success. So Dr. Amber continues to encourage people to lead with love, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Dr. Amber Lyons.
Thank you, Dr. Kunene, thank you so much. So human rights, we know that covers a very broad spectrum of issues in our world, in our communities, in our own personal lives. And one of the things that we do on From Pain to Purpose, we have a youth program called Healing Pain Through the Arts, where we use the arts as a cathartic tool to be able to help people to heal pain and to be able to educate our community, celebrate the gifts and talents of our youth and young adults, and to be able to cultivate love and healing. As a mother who worked with her son in the entertainment, acting, as a child professional actor, and as a music artist, traveling and touring and being in different environments, the world today is very, very, very driven by especially our young people. They're very attracted by social media, by celebrityism, by the things that they see before them. And a lot of times those things begin to affect what's called your mental health. Mental health is a human right because each and every person has a right to be able to be mentally stable and meant to have mental well-being. And over the past couple of years of us being in this pandemic, we have been so bombarded with so many different issues of finances. We have inflation on the rise, gas prices, food, housing is so high. People can barely afford to live sometimes. That we have the great resignation, where some people's mental health was so affected that they were able to just walk away from their jobs. That was no longer a safe environment for them to thrive in a career. So we have these issues that as parents, you're so busy dealing with children being taken out of the building in school and then taken into home instruction and digital learning. And some parents didn't really know how to operate it. Some teachers didn't even know how to operate Zoom and Google Meets and all of those different streaming platforms to be able to communicate. And some of the young people had to literally show and teach the older people. You have parents who maybe single parents who had multiple children and had limited laptops, issues that affected people's mental health. You know, being able to, if you're in the home, now your children are usually away. Now you have the struggle. Am I able to work from home? Am I able to be in a space where I can actually be an essential worker possibly and have to go out every day and come back? Children still need their breakfast, their lunch, their dinner, and they're home during this time. Now they're back in the schools, and we have so many other issues arising that are being brought to the forefront during this time, monkeypox and so many different things that's always affecting your ability to just be able to cope with what you're dealing with on a daily basis. Sometimes parents are so busy trying to just live their own lives and make it just to make it, you're not really connecting with your youth and your young adults to check on their mental health. So our young people's mental health has been something that has been overlooked, has not been really addressed during the time of the pandemic, and we have to be able to bring it to the forefront. So God gave me a program called Cope to Hope, and it's specifically dealing with the youth and young adults' mental health matters too, because we have left them behind as though their mental health is not valid or is not important. Just do what you got to do. You have a home that your bills is paid, and we're struggling to make it for you, and we're making sure that you have what you need. But they're dealing with ism of being in school. They had to deal with, some of them were living in domestic violence homes, and that was their escape to be able to be in school. They got resources there. They got sent at home because of financial issues. So they were separated from their friends, their families could not engage with them for a time. That affected their mental health. So to have during the pandemic a rise from 32 to 35% increase in emergency room visits for teens, that shows you that for teens, because of their mental health, that shows you that there was an issue there that needs to be addressed. Young adults and youth deserve to have their mental health as a right as well. We have to begin to provide resources and provide a safe space for them to be able to feel comfortable in talking about the fact that I'm not okay. It's okay. They say it's okay to not be okay. But if your young people tell you that, are you listening to them? So God gave me Cope to Hope because we're so busy trying to cope, just trying to make it out through a challenging and difficult time. That's what coping is, just trying to be able to balance life and make it through things that are challenging you and that's difficult. So if parents are just trying to cope, we're failing at helping our young people to even have hope. God gave me the scripture in Proverbs 13 and 11 in the LT. It says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a dream fulfilled is the tree of life. We have become a sick generation of people because our hope has been deferred. There's so much that we're hoping for and dreaming for, so some people have given up. Do you know that suicide is the second leading cause of death for ages 15 to 19, 15 to 24 or 29 globally? The second leading cause of death. You have young ladies that it's a high frequent cause of death between the ages of 15 and 19. These are issues that we must deal with. We must be able to understand that depression, we have children as young as 5 years old that are dealing with depression. What are we going to do about this? We have to provide resources. So God gave me Cope to Hope, because Cope is going to be able to open up a safe space for us to be able to get this opportunity for our young people to talk about what it is that's going on with them. Allow them to feel that we are not just talking to them or at them, but we want to talk with them. Because a lot of times parents are talking to and at. Do this, do that. Do what I say, be seen and not heard. It's not that generation anymore. Yes, we are the disciplinarians. We are the head of the household, but we must be something that they need to say. We need to, the C in Cope is for check-in. We got to check in with them. Check-in creates communication. We're not having communication because we're not checking in. How was your day? Is everything okay? Is anything bothering you? Are you having troubles in any area? Observation. Observation opens opportunities. We are missing opportunities to be a blessing and to be a resource to our young people because we're not observing the signs right in front of us. You know, in dating, they say, what's the red flags? But in mental health, it's what are the green flags? What signs are we seeing that we need to rush in and be able to help? Are they changing their behavior? Is their style of dress changing? Are they becoming isolated and withdrawn? We cannot continue to ignore these things and think that our young people, okay, they're putting cryptic messages on social media saying that they want to kill themselves. They're putting out signs, but are we addressing, are we observing them? The P is for provision. We have the resources to be able to make provision so that they can walk in their purpose. So we have to begin to allow ourselves to get, many of us are dealing with our own past trauma, unhealed hurt, and generational cycles and generational curses, then we can't even have the resources ourselves to help our young people. So if we're going to have human rights for young people's mental health, we have to be able to say, I need help too. There's things that happened in my past that I might need to see a therapist. I might need to go to counseling and have someone help me and help me provide the resources so that I can be able to learn how to communicate with my young people, observe the signs, be able to provide the provision that they need because we want them to walk in the purpose that God has for them. And the E is for eagerness. We are slow to move. We let things simmer and we let things simmer. The young man that did that killed all of those children in Texas, that young man had signs that were being ignored over and over and over again. We can't be slow. When we see these things, we have to be eager to address them. And you know what? The eagerness elevates everyone. When we're eager to move in and help and address these issues, and if they don't want to talk to you, get someone else that they can talk to. Understand that human rights for our youth and young adults is for them not to just struggle with mental health, struggle coping, but we got to get them back to the place where their hope is actually birthed in them again and let them know you have something to dream for. What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to do? And when we do this, we will continue to be able to mobilize and be a blessing and uplift our youth and young adults. We just had 2 Cope to Hope in-person events. The first one was in August the 13th. That was just for youth and young adults. And they came out and the things that they talked about, when you create a safe space for them, let them know that you love them and you're there, they unloaded what was going on with them. And we are going to continue with that. We had mental health professionals there to be able to answer questions. And guess what? Out of that came the need for an adults and parents session, which we just had on September 30th, because parents and adults need help too. And there were no youth allowed there, so parents could relieve themselves, come and get help. One of the parents said, y'all are blowing my mind, because we need to be able to restore back in our communities, in our world, and not just cope. So that is my message today on Cope to Hope. Let us get back to having the dream fulfilled and not just living in a space of hope being deferred that is making us sick. Thank you.
Wow, wow, Dr. Amber. Oh my goodness. I was like, just drop the mic. Like your love, your passion for youth and young adults is mind blowing. You've shared all the nuggets that we need to stand for our youth, because their mental health matters too. They need a voice like me and you to be able to stand and believe in human rights. Wow, wow. What a message, and what you do for Cope to Hope really is manifested on this platform. So thank you so much, Dr. Amber, for sharing such a profound, much needed message. They need a voice. They strongly need a voice. The youth, the young adults, they need us. They need us to have listening ears instead of always talking to them, instead of talking with them. That's what you've said to us. Let's talk and listen with understanding to these amazing youth, because they do need the support system, and we are one of that support system. So thank you so much, Dr. Amber.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
thank you for allowing Cope to Hope to come to Canada.
I know, it's definitely coming. We're gonna move to British Columbia, where we have Lucille Dixon Murray. I have Murray here. So Lucille Murray is a new Law Enforcement Foundation's program graduate, and she's also a human rights advocate. So being in international healthcare for approximately 30 years has been complementary to law enforcement sector issues and longstanding international relationships. Having been involved in 2 national human rights matters, which is in South Africa as well as Canada, with a strong accent on law enforcement jurisdiction, paved a passion for Ms. Murray to follow. So like she has mentioned, that law is love and love is law. Kings and queens, please join me and welcome Lucille Murray.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kunene, and thank you so much, Dr. Lyons. Your passion for children and youth just shines from you. And I share that same passion with you. God has birthed something in my heart when I was 12 years old, which are many decades ago, and it's called The Children of the World. And that's what my passion for law really is about. So Dr. Kunene, you asked me to speak to education on law enforcement, and I will elaborate on that as a leadership issue. Now, education is about children, youth, and adults going to school, regardless of what institution or level it is. And education is actually a leadership strategy. And education in law enforcement is just a specialized leadership strategy. So the reason why I actually went to study this law enforcement course was, number one, my goal was to become a United Nations ambassador for UNICEF, for the human rights of children globally. That was my major objective. Secondly, I wanted to set an example for my children to be a leader and to be a hero, which is the company I'm employed with at the moment, is Hero Security in BC, Canada. But most of all, I'm a grandmother too. So I have a little grandson that watches Paw Patrol constantly over the epidemic. And I wanted to set the example to him without talking much, that he can be his own hero. Listen, kings and queens, there is nobody that's coming to save you really in a situation where you have a crisis. It depends on yourself. When the king is not at the castle, the queen takes care of business. And load your ammunition and put on your breastplate of righteousness and your armor that will help you to excel in what you are born to do. So just to a short point, the leadership style that I chose, and that's very prominent in law enforcement, is called situational leadership. In police and military situation, they always do a summary beforehand, or most of the time, and it's called, or in a crisis, we have a situation here, and that calls for leadership. So the three skills of a situational leader are the three things. Number one, goal setting. You have to set a clear goal. So for example, when we have a situation, we say, we have a situation we need to go into, and this is what we need to do. Secondly, the second skill is to diagnose a situation. It is like medicine. You have to assess your either personal situation or the situation you are going into and or the people that you are dealing with. Very important here as a leader, you have to assess and measure the development of the level of the people you are working with, because everybody is at a different level. Then thirdly, the third skill of situational leadership is matching. It's just like medicine. You set a goal, you have to get the patient well, or you have to get the crisis under control in law enforcement. Secondly, you really diagnose the issue, what is the real fire point here? And then thirdly, you bring the matching point for results. Now, a matching skill for situational leadership is to be able to use different leadership styles with different people in different situations and identify on the spot what they need from you. And the true effective leaders in the world are the ones that do not talk too much about all the difficult things I've been through or how traumatic it has been. Everybody wants to hear, like Dr. Lyons mentioned, did you bring the ship home? Did you rescue that kid out of that situation? Did you bring things together for your family? And in the military, they have a saying, leave no man behind. So that depends on your style of leadership. Sometimes a situation calls for direct leadership or supportive leadership or a combination of both. However, very important in situational leadership and often in life, I train my children to say, I'm speaking to the situation, not on a personal level. Let's look at it as if it's on a chessboard. So once you can identify those issues, you may have a much better result. The most important thing, I think, in effective leadership, and that I have experienced personally, and especially in law enforcement, the fires can really fly, is your attitude. Have an attitude of excellence, like Daniel in the Bible. And that takes discipline. Discipline of yourself first, and then discipline of the task at hand. I'm just going to speak a little bit about the program that I've done and why I did it and what the results were. It is a program called Law Enforcement Foundation in Canada, and it's national, which is an online program. It is a year program, and it consists of 26 modules with an 8-week practicum at the end. My instructors were absolutely specialized. My main instructor of most of the time was Mr. Scott Mark, and he is a former military police forensic specialist and really loved his job and just absolutely excelled in what he was doing. The other instructors were veteran police officers with years of experience behind them, and instructor with a PhD in political science and philosophy. A big thing in this educational course is support. They have support in extra mentoring. They have support in helping you pull through when you get stuck at a certain point, or when you have personal, family, or medical issues that is sort of like an interference in your study program. And these people are absolutely specialized and skilled to pull you through. Now, I have to mention to you, when you deal with law enforcement, whether it's police officers, military, or in the law. These people have one word, and it's discipline. They have rules and regulations which are in place to actually save your life, rescue you, and protect you and deliver you from a situation. So these people are very strong, and take that as a guide that it is to build and to grow you. I just want to mention a few of the modules that I have taken in my program, which is critical to daily life and not just only law enforcement. The three top modules I believe that I've studied in the program of 26 modules are, number one is conflict resolution. You always have conflict, whether it's personal or in a law enforcement issue, and your response on a conflict will actually target how your outcome will be. Secondly, is human behavior, and you need here to learn a discipline of how to buffer your emotions, because your emotions cannot direct the outcome. So that is a very critical response in success. And then thirdly, but very close to my heart, are issues in diversity, and especially in the First Nation people. Now, I come from South Africa. I come out of apartheid, pre and post the Nelson Mandela regime. I can tell you one thing. I can detect racism continents away, and I have no space for it. God created us all equal. So that is one fire I keep burning. And then God blessed me with a grandson that's First Nation. So I have a major task ahead, and I absolutely love it. Anyway, to get back to some of the other modules, very interesting, are basic security training that you do, so you can actually work while you study. And I've been so blessed to be exposed to absolute high profile security, law enforcement, police, and military personnel that were my training officers of life. And that really set the bar for me. The other subjects are sociology, criminology, and the criminal justice system, introduction to law enforcement, psychology, communications. Then one favorite subject of mine, which I think is a basic of human rights, actually, is called Contemporary Social Problems. And this was my favorite textbook, was about social disorder. And that is what I've experienced as a critical issue in human rights issues. Relationships are there to be building positive norms and values. That comes from God, family, and the basic structure. When social disorder occurs, we have broken relationships in family, in the norms and values, and in the community. So that is something that I really pay attention to with my law enforcement foundation program, is how to heal that, and especially with children and youth. Further, Canadian government and politics, law and the legal system, criminal code, and federal statutes. This is my second Bible. It's bigger than my Bible, and this needs to be known by the tips of your fingers when you're in law enforcement, whether you're police, military, forensics investigator, and especially then in the courts for sure. The other subjects are police authority, search, seizure, and arrest, investigation techniques, ethics, correctional services, wellness management, and sociology. Of course, I've thoroughly enjoyed. I graduate on October 15, and the reward this education has brought me was just to give me the confidence in God of who I am as my identity in Christ. And the reward really for anybody is love. Love for God, your neighbor and yourself, your family and your community. Secondly is respect, because you show when you put your uniform on that you've applied the discipline and you're about to execute a certain action. And I'm quite surprised how you demand respect without having saying anything when you dress up in your uniform and go to work. Thirdly is honor, because that gives you access to relationships where you are respected and trusted. You learn to trust yourself, and you learn to trust situations, and you learn to trust others. And then, as I mentioned, most important, something that children and young people really miss is the recognition of your identity, who you are in Christ. So I'd like to sign that off to thank you, Dr. Kunene, and Social Service for God at your hand, a secret service of God at your hand and your command. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. And anybody, I want to tell you, be your own hero. Step up to the plate. Eagles fly above the storm. They don't stay where the chickens are. So lift your wings, ladies, kings and queens, and let's go. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, Lucille. You know, like when you look at an eagle doesn't fly against the storm. It flies to the storm. So I see you in that, like you've got this, you know, this energy. Oh, thank you so much for sharing such a profound message, and knowing that you are from South Africa and you've experienced this racism firsthand,
Yes.
like based on the skin color, and
Yes.
it's really amazing. I've studied in South Africa for 4 years, and I know
Wonderful.
what you're talking about. Yeah, so thank you so much. You've shared more nuggets on the leadership, more especially on law enforcement, and you've mentioned that it's based on a situational leadership.
Yes.
Situational leadership, and you've mentioned goal setting and why really you'll have to study law. You'll have to study law enforcement. You showed us your Bible and that you would share. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I just can't thank you enough. You've shared much needed knowledge, much needed wisdom. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Green.
Yes, so to our viewers online, please feel free, if you have any questions for Dr. Lyons or for Lucille, please feel free, post your questions in the chat box, and we're going to attend to your questions at the end of the podcast. So at this moment, I'm just going to, while we are trying to fix our technical issues here, I'm going to let Dr. Lyons to share with the audience how they can reach out to her, as well as Lucille. You can share with the audience how they can reach out to you, how they can work with you. So meanwhile, while we are trying to sort ourselves here, please feel free to share with the audience.
Thank you. That message was powerful. Thank you so much for so much insightful information in regards to law enforcement and human rights. You can reach me. All of my social media is on Linktree. That's linktr.ee/ALYONS63. So it's Linktree, linktr.ee/ALYONS, LYONS63. That's my Facebook, my Instagram, our website, which is www.frompaintopurpose.net, our Facebook page, business page, Instagram business page, all of that is on that, and you can actually get a free 30-minute consultation with myself by connecting onto that link as well. I think you also said, did you say some things that we have coming up, or you didn't say that part yet?
Yes, I've said that.
Okay, so we have quite a busy month for October. We have Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I had a speaking engagement yesterday on one of the books. As you can see on my virtual, I'm pointing the right way, my virtual background, there's 4 books there. Wake Up Winning, No Matter What, Because Losing Is Not an Option. That book actually is my son and I are co-authors in that book. And he was the youngest co-author. He became an author at 20 years old. So that book is all about motivation and different parts of people's lives and stories. And he shared a part of his story as well as I in that book. We were the only mother and son team and manager artist team at that time. So then we have the Women Visionary Leaders. I have a chapter in that book. These are book collaborations. We just launched in London, the 100 Most Successful Women Around the World, Volume 2, Build Success from Scratch. That book is available as well. And the one on the bottom, Healing and Growth Series, I'm honored to be a part of that book because so much of what we do is about healing. Our mission statement is healing from the inside out. And we talk about healing pain through the arts in our youth program. So to be a part of the Life Service Center LLC book, Healing and Growth Series with Gigi Sabat.
Oops, I think
sister. That's going to be launching the one. If you want any of the books, you can contact me and just reach out to me. We're building a collaboration of mental health professionals, a network to be able to have resources for our youth and young adults and parents for our Cope to Hope program. So please reach out to us and connect with us to be able to move forward. There's so many other programs we have, but just connect with us and we can see what we can do to work together.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Lyons. I think our technology is coming back again. So Lucille, you can go ahead and share the audience. So we'll reach out to you and then I'll be the next speaker.
Certainly, thank you, Dr. Kunene. I am reachable the best way on social media, on my Instagram account, especially for the young people, that's my audience, under the name Lucille Murray 76. That is my Instagram account name. Then secondly, on Facebook as Lucille Murray, Human Rights Consultant. And then also on my email address, we can collaborate at, email address is paralegal2020mig@gmail.com. Thank you very much, Dr. Kunene.
Thank you so much, Lucille, and thank you so much, Dr. Lyons. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be the next speaker while technology is on our end. So I'm gonna share my bio with you and then I'll come back and speak.
I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. Really, my goal as a mentor or as a coach is so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to pursue success and drive sustainability.
I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights.
Dr. Nampumelelo Rial Kunene is an international human rights policy analyst who consults on policies and procedures related to human rights compliance. She is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Lace Brown international speaker. This passionate leader holds a PhD with a discipline in leadership and business. Dr. Rial N. Kunene is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. She is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective and inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes. In a seriously funny way, Dr. Kunene is an award-winning author, 10 times #1 Amazon and international best-selling author. Her #1 best-selling book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. As a trainer, diplomacy protocol officer, and strategist, Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. She is also a true advocate for creating new policies that uphold human rights and prevent human rights violations. Dr. Kunene's purpose is to teach everyone about human rights and help organizations understand and promote human rights. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. This change maker, trailblazer, and revolutionary is pushing boundaries and creating a real change worldwide. Like a phoenix that never accepted defeat and rose from its own ashes, she wants to challenge you to unleash your greatness and rise to greater heights. Dr. Rial N. Kunene wears many hats. As a professional certified sales manager, CEO, certified travel counselor, publisher, medical esthetician, philanthropist, and a commissioner for oaths, following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalms 27 and 40 keeps her to rise to greater heights. The sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Dr. Rial N. Kunene.
Thank you. Thank you, amazing speakers. Yeah, today, honestly, I always ask if you have any reasons not to complain in life. Today, I have so many reasons to complain, but I choose peace, I choose hope, I choose to be positive, because complaining, it doesn't resolve anything whatsoever. But before I continue, I just want to appreciate you two amazing speakers today for being with us here today and sharing your nuggets. Dr. Lyons shared more nuggets on Cope to Hope, on how she's making a difference on the mental health issues related to youth and young adults. And on the other side, Lucille, she shared more nuggets on law enforcement. Oh my goodness, I'm getting tongue-tied. It's Friday. She shared more nuggets on law enforcement, and then I'm gonna be pouring all, if I say all, I mean all nuggets that you just wanna hear about human rights. What comes into your mind when you hear the word human rights? You can put in the chat box what comes into your mind when you hear the word human rights, because I will come back and check if you know exactly what are your human rights, and what you'll have to understand when we say human rights. Human rights are the fundamental rights and freedoms inherent to all human beings, regardless of your gender, nationality, place of residence, sex, ethnicity, religion, or even your skin color. So human rights are not just about the law. Thus, human rights are not discriminatory, meaning that all human beings are entitled to them. And you can never, ever be excluded from your own human rights. Good people, you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life, but you need to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to become great in life. So get started today. As my everyday book says, learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause. So get started today, seek justice, correct oppression. And you will find this verse in Isaiah 1 verse 17. It's in the Bible for some reasons. If you thought I just made it up, it says you have to learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause. So I know that we all have a voice, but not everyone knows how to use it. So as an advocate for human rights, I encourage change makers and educate them on the issues at hand so that their voices can be heard too. So I work with the individuals in charge, listening closely before I start calling out issues that need change, because I serve not just as a vocal protester, but I just go one step further by encouraging these changes through education instead of merely like telling government leaders why something needs fixing, which happens quite frequently. We're always easy to judge than just to listen and understand and then pose questions where they are needed. Really, to me, what made me to stand up to be a human rights advocate today, it was the death of George Floyd that made me to realize that we need to stand for a world where no one shall live in fear because of the color of their skin, and where the criminal justice system treats everyone fairly and equally. If you remember it very well, May 25th, 2020, George Floyd died in police custody in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This 46-year-old Black man was arrested and killed after a convenience store employee called 911 on Floyd's suspicion of passing a counterfeit $20 bill. The video that was captured by a bystander, it showed George Floyd pinned face down on the ground in handcuffs, and one of the police officers pressing his knee against his neck as he was pleading for help. I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And finally, he fell silent. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Good people, it's so impossible not to be outraged watching that video of the Minneapolis officer pressing his knee against Floyd's neck for a period initially reported to be 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I believe that everyone is born free and everyone has the right to life. So that's the reason why I am here. I am still preaching my message that everyone deserves to know about their human rights so that they will know when their human rights are being violated. So always seek passion, good people. Try by all means to get familiar with human rights. So our organization, it fills a critical role in society by providing valuable services that governments may not always be able to deliver. From poverty relief to human rights advocacy, we are a vital for supporting the most vulnerable members of our communities. We are an integral part of society, and we are involved like globally in human rights, climate change, and humanitarian aid, because there are many, many ways in which we need to persuade governments to adopt human rights related legislations. And some of these, they may include just providing information in just a seminar like this, for the general public, maybe through exhibits, side events, formal speeches, or lobbying officials during meetings and negotiations. It's your assignment to care, to bring awareness to people about human rights. It's your responsibility to always go out there and be the voice for the voiceless. You know, it's so funny how my mom and dad gave me this beautiful, beautiful name, Nompumelelo. I know many, when they try to say my name, they always butcher my name. But Nompumelelo, really, Nompumelelo, it has a meaning. My name, it means mother of all success. So you can see that I am really, really challenged to chase after success. No matter what comes my way, I'll have to chase after success. So if I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve maybe in the next 6 months? I know myself, I am one of those. I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. So as a human rights analyst, my purpose is to teach everyone about human rights and help organizations to understand and promote human rights. So I also make a difference by bringing solutions and educating others. I remember it was Barack Obama who once said, "The future rewards those who press on." I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. So it's high time we press on, we get more knowledge on human rights. Good people, you really don't have to be politically involved to learn about your human rights. All human beings are entitled to them, and you can never, ever be excluded from your own human rights. Why? I'm glad you've asked that, because these are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. These are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. So as flight attendants always say that, put on your oxygen mask first before you assist others, because if you don't, you and the other person you're trying to help could possibly go down. So put on that oxygen mask first to yourself first before you go out there and try to save the world. Get the knowledge about your human rights. So it's a wake-up call, good people. It's a wake-up call. But when that alarm clock goes off, please, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and get more knowledge on human rights? Remember that a right is a freedom of some kind. It doesn't matter where we were born or what kind of family we were born into. We all have the internal recognition of the moral quality of one's motives and actions. It was Nelson Mandela who once said, to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. And trust me, this message stirred something within me. So I am a true advocate for creating new policies that uphold human rights and prevent human rights violations from even happening in the first place. So what I do, I consult on policies and procedures related to human rights compliance. And then I advise on best practices for implementing human rights programs. And I can also assist with audits of operations against international standards. I do research and help draft human rights related policies, human rights related policies on discrimination at work, harassment at work, diversity and inclusion, patients' rights, and many, many more human rights related policies, because I have a duty of raising awareness of people's rights and providing solutions. Because I believe that an essential thing in human rights is based on the principle of respect for the individual. So I work towards raising awareness and providing solutions, believing that the most critical thing in our species' rights is based on moral grounds. Each individual deserves respect, no matter what they do or who they are. You know, good people, I so wish you can just tell yourself that, you know what, it's high time I get more knowledge on human rights. It's high time I go out there and be the change that I want to see in my community. To those who look at me as an inspiration, it's high time I am that change that I want to see in this world. But in order for you to go out there and be the change, in order for you to go out there and make a difference, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like the hungry lion in the jungle. Really, that hungry lion in the jungle, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you have that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. And it's so funny because even with elephants, when they see a lion, what they do is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I am a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I see a lion, I'll have to run. I believe that's the lion mindset that we need in order for us to be the change in this world, because I believe that we all rise together and we rise to greater heights by fixing each other's crown. Fixing each other's crown instead of tearing anyone down. We don't have to step on other people to get to the top. You know, it's so funny, when I was in the 8th grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition using the idiomatic expression that says, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix bird, meaning I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me. And it also aligns with my destiny. It also aligns with my first name, Nompumelelo, because it means mother of all success. So that English teacher, really, she didn't understand that. So for those of you who don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents our capacity for vision and success. I want to encourage you, if you are watching and listening under my voice, that when your world comes crashing down, wear your scars to show how a phoenix feels like to die from inside, and trust in your own capability to rise from your own ashes, since the phoenix has to die, burn, experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down in conclusion. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. And I know you've heard this before, that your setback is your setup for your comeback. Your setback is your setup for your comeback. So if I can be honest with you, I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. I don't know what dreams you have for your own future, but here's one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that God has a better plan for every one of us. Your objective is what you were designed for and the reason why you live today. With God, I believe that we're all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy. This is when the growth commences, because discovering your gift and following God's idea, it will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach your full potential. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, once said, if you had to die today, at this very moment, at this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what skills, what talents, and what books will die with you? And the late Dr. Miles Monroe continued saying that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the dreams, all the goals, all the visions, all the skills, all the talents have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me listening to all these messages, it just gave me sleepless nights. And I am proud. I remember it very well. I started journaling my first book, Rise to Greater Heights, which is a comprehensive guide to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. And by the way, Les Brown, he wrote the foreword in this book. And I didn't stop there. Like I've mentioned, that I believe that everyone is born free and everyone has the right to life. So I decided to write my book, Human Rights, which are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. Because you know what? I believe that we are all equal. We are all equal in dignity. We are. It doesn't matter where we were born or what kind of family we were born into. We are all equal in dignity. And if you may ask yourself, what's really holding you back from going confident in the direction of your dreams? Is it fear? Is it mediocrity? Is it procrastination? Is it distraction? What's really holding you back? Kings and queens, it's so essential to assess your goals' progress. So I decided to come together with 15 different co-authors around the world to write this book, What's Holding You Back? Because it's your time to shine. It's your time to cultivate your mindset for success. Here we have 17 different co-authors around the world. You'll have to cultivate your mindset for success so that you are able, even through hardships, through whatsoever challenges you are coming across, you are able to bounce back to life. And that's what we call it, resilience to greatness. So I believe that with all these books, they have the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. And I also have a free transformation guide for you. It's available on my website, www.risetogreaterheights.com. With this free transformation guide, trust me, you'll be able to explore leadership, empowerment, being purpose-driven, mentorship, coaching, resilience to greatness, mental health, emotional intelligence, and many, many more topics, including spiritual growth. Because growing up, I didn't have much in life because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. And I thank God I missed that flight because I'm still here. I'm still sharing my message. I'm still preaching my gospel because I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you so much, Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Rial and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. So at this moment, please feel free to share once again how the audience can reach out to you. If you have your final thoughts in this subject, please feel free to share your final thoughts, as well as if you have your upcoming event, please share with the audience. And then I'm just gonna go back on Facebook and see if we have any questions being posted over them. So Dr. Lyons, you can go ahead. The stage is yours, Queen.
Wow. Amazing, Dr. Kunene, amazing. Thank you so much for that powerful message on human rights and rising like the phoenix and being like the eagle that flies above the storm, and all of the great analogies that you gave to help people to understand, and the books that you have penned to be able to be a blessing to so many different lives. Thank you so much for this platform, Rise to Greater Heights. You know, it may seem like it's something simple because you said in one of your message is simple, you know, so it may seem simple, but yet so powerful and so impactful in the days and time in which we live. Even when you spoke about George Floyd, you know, just so powerful. Thank you so much, because it's another thing that affected the mental health of our young people. The whole issue of race relations and racial injustice and the inhumanity towards people of brown and Black skin. That's a whole big thing that impacted our young people as well, going to protest and being involved and things of that nature, like one thing after the other during the pandemic. So we know that this has just been a time of just not only sharing from our point of view, but being able to receive so much information from yourself and also from Lucille Dixon. Thank you so much. I was speaking in British Columbia this morning too. Not just Canada, I'm doing 2 in 1. So as far as I'm concerned, we did give a link tree already, but for October, we have, I spoke yesterday at a book tour for the 100 most successful women around the world, and today we're here on Rise to Greater Heights, speaking of human rights. We have an upcoming event on the 19th of October for domestic violence. I will be co-hosting as well as speaking on with the World Women's Conference Award and from Pain to Florida chapter and from Pain to Purpose Incorporated, collaborating together on that event with speakers. They'll be speaking on various issues pertaining to domestic violence. On the 21st, I will be speaking on a platform called Mom Biz Boss, and that's going to be on Friday the 21st. On Saturday the 29th, I will be speaking at a mental wellness summit that's going to be in, I believe, in East Point, Georgia. Those other first two are virtual, but the Saturday 29th will be in person, and that's Be Kind to Your Mind Wellness Summit. And I'll be speaking on when youth, domestic violence, and mental health collide. That's my topic for that event. So that's going to be on my social media as well. And we just have so many other things coming up in October and so forth. I might be missing something, but so far that's what I can remember. So just feel free to connect with me, follow me on social media. Again, linktr.ee/ALYONS63. That is where all of my social media is. And yeah, looking forward to connecting with you. Or connect with us and let's do this together. Let's truly stand up for the mental health of our youth and young adults. Our Healing Pain Through the Arts Youth Program has a Healing Pain Through the Arts Youth Spotlight Awards. We honored for the first time in September 2021, we honored 2 young ladies who passed on posthumously. That was the first time we honored 2 young ladies that passed on. One of them was a 9-year-old girl that committed suicide. 9 years old because of being bullied. So when we speak about these things, it is a vital issue, a vital human rights issue. So I look forward to working with those that will reach out to us and connect with us. Thank you so much again for this space.
Wow. Smooches, wow. 9-year-old committed suicide because of bullying. That can be my son, that can be my daughter. And what are we doing about this? Nothing. Nothing, because I've been raised in Africa where it took the whole village to raise me to be the person I am today. And when switching to a different culture like Canada, I get in trouble just by correcting a child. This is not done this way. It's supposed to be done that way. What are we doing? What are we doing to our children? It's high time we stand up. Thank you so much, Dr. Lyons. Wow. And thank you so much for impacting the world, one youth at a time. May God grant you the strength that you need for you to push this ministry that you are doing, because you are changing lives. You might take it lightly, but to us, seeing your work, really, it means the world. So keep on pushing, Dr. Lyons. You can go ahead, Lucille, and share with the audience.
Thank you, Dr. Kunene, and thank you very much, Dr. Lyons. I'm looking forward to collaborate with you, and I just absolutely love your passion. It's in line with my passion in my heart and the work that I do. So I challenge you all, both your excellencies and the audience, distinguished audience, today, within the next hour even, be a hero for love. Not to get a reward, because Jesus said, I sent my son to the world to save humanity. And it's not for any recognition or reward, but for what you are born to do. Go find out what it is if you don't know yet who you are. What do you love to do, whether you're being paid or not, whether people see you or not? And that is what a true hero is. But be a hero for yourself. Come out of your situation and rise to greater heights. Surprise your enemies. Shock those that look down on you and say, it's God that did and created me. So this is my gift. So thank you all. The fastest way to get hold of me is on Facebook. The kids called it the older regime, but Facebook under Lucille Murray, Human Rights Consultant. And then Instagram kids, you can reach me on Lucille76. And then for the adults and organizations at paralegal2020mig@gmail.com. The next event that I may be involved in will be after our city elected a new mayor on October 15, and that I have graduated then successfully. And then after that, I'm also working on a human trafficking platform, something that I'm really, really passionate about. And that's another reason why I went to study law enforcement, because I don't just want to sit on the side. And it's wonderful to have all the academics, but I want to get into the adventure. Let's hop on the chopper. Let's get into the drug house. Let's go where the people need to be rescued and protected. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Lucille. Wow, look at the passion that you have. Now you'll be launching human trafficking, which is a subject that we really should be focusing on, and because it's happening around us. We're losing loved ones and we're not saying anything. We're losing friends, we're not saying anything. And we need voices like yours to change the world. I am looking forward for you to launch this program. And our audience really online, they've been really, really inspired. I can see Mariah watching. She's giving us all the love, all the hearts. She's always on this platform. And Chantel Michelle Jackson, she is saying, good morning, sunshines. Awesome. And this woman, she spoke life into my life. Wow, it's such a great honor to have her. And Dr. Amber is saying that what an honor to be here today as a guest speaker at Rise to Greater Heights Network. And thank you. Oh, smooches. I think I will get used to the smooches. And she's saying that be a hero for love, Lucille Murray. Wow, what a message, what a morning, what a best way to spend the morning to be on this platform. We learned a lot about mental health from Dr. Lyons, and Lucille on the other side. She's like, you'll have to get more familiar about law enforcement. Now it's human trafficking. So what are you doing out there that is impacting the world. I believe you are doing something to make this world a better place to stay, because we need this. So I appreciate you, amazing speakers, to be on this platform today. We are not taking your presence on this platform really for granted, but we have been blessed. I'm going to go back and watch the replay over and over again. And I know technology wasn't on our side when we started, but you know what? We believe that we all rise to greater heights together, and we carried each other in our spirits, and it worked wonders. So I appreciate both of you. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much. And to our audience online, without you, honestly, we are nothing. Thank you so much for joining us today here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. I hope from all these messages, from all these amazing speakers, you've been inspired, you've been really educated on many aspects on human rights, and you are ready to rise to greater heights. So do join us next week at the same time,